Speaker Gingrich, you know this well. You know how it works. Senate Majority Leader John Thune can only lose 3 votes. Ron Johnson is skeptical. You have Rand Paul, among others. Then the changes go back to the House, and they want to do it all before 4th of July. So what, in your estimation, is the path of the big, beautiful bill?
Well, look, the Senate has every right to develop its own version. The fact is, if you care about the American economy, if you care about the American people, then this bill's very, very important. It blocks a huge tax increase. It creates much better regulatory environment. It takes out a great deal of the waste in government. It's not perfect. Look, we balanced the budget for 4 straight years for the only time in the last century. But we didn't do it overnight. We didn't do it the first or second year. You have to chip away at these things, get the best you can, plan to come back again next year, or come back this fall on the appropriations bills, but keep moving. The Senate, I think, has to pass this bill early enough to go to conference. There'll have to be a conference. You're not going to take either the House or the Senate bill by themselves. And then they've got to come out of conference, and I hope they'll schedule getting it out by the 4th of July. We are right at the edge of a Trump economic boom of historic proportions. You look at the amount of money he's getting, for example, from the Middle East, trillions of dollars in sales, trillions of dollars in investments. You look at how tough he is in protecting the American economy, the incentives he's building to build in America instead of importing from overseas. We're really at the edge of an extraordinary period of dramatic growth. But passing this bill is a major key to that. And I would simply say to all the senators, when you're done amending and you're done arguing, you have to vote yes, because to vote no is voting for a giant tax increase. It's voting to cripple the government. It's voting to make it very difficult for President Trump to create the kind of America that he was voted to create. And frankly, it goes against the wishes of virtually every Republican who put the senators in office.
Speaker Gingrich, there's an irony here that occurred to me. You know, you had President Biden, who called in a bunch of historians very soon into getting into office and talked to them about how to become FDR. FDR ushered in the era of big government. But if Trump does this, he becomes the person who ushers in the era of the working class. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime. I think this is legacy defining, puts him on the scale of some of the greatest presidents in history. What does this do for his legacy?
Oh, look, there's no question in my mind that he is one of the 5 great change presidents in American history. Jefferson, Jackson, Lincoln, Franklin Roosevelt, and now, 90 years after Roosevelt created what has been the central governing system for the last 9 decades, you finally have a president with the courage, the intelligence, the energy, the drive to really profoundly change things. And I think we're also learning, of course, that there's so much that went wrong in the last administration. It is so extraordinarily corrupt, probably the largest scandal in American history. And we need to get things to work to make America successful again. And that's why it's vital that citizens tell their senators and their House members, pass the bill, get America moving again. Don't find some excuse to screw things up.
And last question, we only have a few moments, but you think it gets through by 4th of July?
Well, that would be my hope. It's very hard because the Senate would have to pass the bill and get to conference. But I certainly agree with something Senator Thune said, which is no August recess unless this bill has been conferenced and on the president's desk and signed, period. So they've got to get it done, ideally by the 4th of July. And remember, Speaker Johnson promised us for months he would get it out of the House by Memorial Day, and he did. So yes, hopefully the Senate will be equally fast.
A man of his word, as are you. House Speaker Newt Gingrich, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Kermit the Frog.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.